Hello there and welcome back to Satisfactory. Yes, we're back on Satisfactory once again, going to be continuing a single player playthrough on 1.1. So, if you want to hear last time, we had to fix the plastic factory. It just had to be done. We had to spend an episode on it, but at least it's finally back up to snuff the way it's supposed to. It's producing plastic like it's supposed to and everything else, so at least that is accomplished. Now we can move on back to what we were supposed to be doing this week, which was finishing up the grasslands loop with our train lines and our train bridges. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is heading on over to the grasslands to finish up our grasslands loop, or at least try anyway. So let's go ahead and get on into it. Let's go. Alrighty then, and here we are over at our plastic factory. We're gonna hop on over there in a second, but yes. This is the plastic that we had to completely redo. The heavy oil. Well, this is a temporary measure. It might become permanent. That's why I've painted it. But yeah, it is mostly temporary. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, it's mostly temporary. So we've got a bunch of heavy oil being packaged with the excess plastic, no less. This is all excess plastic. This is not the plastic that the factories are using. This is the plastic that the factories are not using. So all the excess plastic is coming up here and being split and merged and everything else to make packages so that we can go ahead and sink our heavy oil to get rid of all the heavy oil barrels over here. You know, honestly, I think the packages, they shouldn't require anything different, but I think the packages for heavy oil and regular oil should be a barrel, and maybe they should take like iron ingots or something, you know, rather than empty packages, because these are barrels. And you know, you got the empty fluid tanks one. Why can't we have that? You know, like these ones just don't make a whole heck of a lot of sense. They go from looking like gasoline canister, like unpainted gasoline canisters, to full on 55 gallon drums. It is what it is. But yeah, so we got 40 packagers up here, and I was going to have to put down more, but then as I'm seeing, no matter what, it seems like a lot of our lines are actually running out of heavy oil. So the way this system works is the machines make the heavy oil, they send it down to the train station. Now, before they go down to the train station, they get split so that they can come up here. And this is so that whatever gets sent down to the train station stays at the train station. It doesn't get sucked out. So that the trains will get what they get, you know. Now we're only using 150 heavy oil out of the damn near 3,000 that we're producing. So we're packaging and sinking it for now. So yeah, that's just how it had to go. We did have a facility. We corrected that facility up and over there. It was taking a 10-car train of heavy oil to then be sunk, but it wasn't enough. The plastic factory kept backing up with heavy oil, which was very unfortunate, but now it's not. So we are done here. We're all done here. All right, so we're going to go through my little Hyper 2 cannon. I know this is not the updated version. I don't like the looping updated version, to be honest with you, because you have to remember how many rotations you go around before you need to, you know, change direction and shoot yourself out of the cannon. I like the traditional style. The traditional style is way better in my opinion. However, if you pressed on space, the looping style is definitely way more efficient. Again, it's just one of those, you have to remember how many laps you need to make, so you don't go too far or too short. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is the standard. Oops. This is the standard style. Let's put on our jetpack. And it's going to be very, very laggy because we're going to be loading in areas that aren't meant to be loaded in as quickly as we're heading over here. So yeah, even the audio is going to lag a little bit. That's just how it goes, unfortunately. Yeah, you can see our factories over here in the grasslands, and like I said, it's gonna take a while to load. If you're wondering why you can see everything, I've got the fog turned off. I've had the fog turned off for a while. It's just turning off the fog is just way better for screenshots and for the B-roll shots. So you got to turn off that fog, you know. But here's where we left off on Friday for our grasslands loop. I know we didn't get a whole lot done Friday, but At the same time, I had a lot going on as well. So I was just like, yeah, I need to get this done. Not, you know, that was a completely 100% my fault, mismanagement of time, of course. All right. So now that we're finally over here, we're gonna switch. We're gonna switch back over to our jetpack, and to avoid a bug, we're gonna take it off, put it back on. Okay, we should be good. There's a bug in there that sometimes when you get a lot going on with a game, and you have a jetpack, and you're changing different connection points, it stutters and lags when it changes those connection points. It's a bug with the jetpack, so. And one of the fixes, or I think the only fix as far as I know anyway, is to take off the jet or the hover pack, put it in your inventory, put it back on, or swap between that and the jetpack, swap back it, and it usually fixes it. So pretty good. Now we did have to raise up a little bit to get up and over this rock, because otherwise, at the level we were currently at, we were going to run into it. Now hopefully, if we take out our blueprints here, my hundreds of blueprints, we're going to pull the regular bridge. I think we're high enough. We may have to go up another slope. I'm not sure, though. I'd rather not go up another slope. I'd rather go up a slope. I'd rather not... Oh, my gosh. No! Damn it. Nope. I need to remove... Okay. Damn it. Don't ask. We're just going to ignore what just happened. I knocked something over and it clicked my mouse. Don't know why that was over there, to be honest. I mean, I should know. I would, you know, I'm the only one here. That's okay. Like, I'm the only one here. I should know what happens. You know what I mean? Okay, we'll line that up. Perfecto. Alright, so this is just half a bridge blueprint. Yeah, that works. Yeah, because you can see how far the rock actually pierces over into our little blueprint here. We got some beams piercing the rock, but I'd rather have that than the bridge being pierced by the rock and then the train being pierced by the rock. Because at that level it would have. You can see the level it was at. We wouldn't have been able to hit the ground, but that rock was going to be right in the way. But yeah, seems like we went up the right amount. So pull this over. I'm going to pull it to the halfway point. That way, because it's a 1 meter slope, so it's not like we need to, you know, go several tiles out to make it smooth. It's just a little hump, basically. Yeah, you can see just how much of a hump it is. It's very little. It's very smooth. Okay, so now that we've got that done, hello there, Mr. Bean. I'm afraid I'm going to have to play through, if you don't mind. Sorry, I got an eyebrow twitch. That was random. What the hell? Alrighty, that has been resolved. Ah, that came out of nowhere, man. Like, what the hell? And just random eyebrow twitching. I'm like, ah, I can't see. It was about like that, yeah. That's exactly how I reacted when it started. I was like, I don't know. Alright. Let's go ahead and remove all this because we need to put in our newer supports, of course. I'm basically just gonna... Hello, bird. Basically just gonna show you how I do the supports for this. So I got the supports in with the blueprint, but that's if it's a single blueprint. That's not if it's a continued bridge. Because sometimes all you want is a single little piece, you know? So it's just like, well, I'll just put it in and I just remove the extra pieces. Takes me 2 whole seconds to remove all those pieces, so no big deal. I do like my my bridge's underglow though. I'm actually happy I did that. Because when you're up close to it, you know, or you're out exploring underneath these bridges and stuff, and it's all lit up in green. It's actually kind of cool. I'm actually very happy with that. Plus, the green is the main themed color in the grasslands. Now, it's not for all the factories, but just whichever factories are green, I guess. Green as in, you know, circuit boards are green, and high-speed connectors are green. You know, that kind of thing. Okay, I think we're going to... Oop, I'm out of power. No. Alrighty. Let's go back. We need to pull our track over to the end of this bridge first. Yeah, I love this. I do love the way I did this blueprint. I'm so glad I did it as well, because this blueprint just works so good together. Because it's actually it's a dual blueprint for a single bridge, which is really nice. Do I have my flashlight on? No, I do not. Okay. And the only thing you have to do with the bridge itself is you do have to add a bit of the lighting in, because I couldn't add that in because it was on the edge of the blueprint, which is a little unfortunate. I couldn't add these in with the blueprint itself. But this blueprint is the way this blueprint is a single blueprint. It's a single blueprint that you put together to make a bridge, which is really nice. Let's go ahead and remove some of these trees. Sorry, nature. I need to pull my track through here, and you're in my way. Oh. Well, that did nothing helpful. Freeze. Good old game. Yeah, my world is so big that the autosave is like my season 4, or season 3, sorry. It's like my season 3 where the autosave is like, you know, there were times where like 15 to 30 seconds. This one's not quite at that level yet, but it's getting close. And if I keep producing like I have, I'll definitely be on that level. Of course, that particular world was just here in the grasslands, and it was a city build. And that city build spanned most of the grasslands. And I wasn't actually manufacturing as much as I am in this world. And that's probably why this world has gotten, even though it's not up to that level yet, which Season 3 was the end of Phase 4, which Phase 5 didn't exist during Season 3, so... Because that was during Update... I think we started on Update 6 with that save. And then, yeah, because Update 6 came out during Season 2. Yeah, I would not recommend going back and watching Season 2. That world was interesting. But also, I didn't really know what I was doing back. I mean, I still don't know what I'm doing when it comes to YouTube, but I definitely did not know what I was doing back then. Okay, so we'll put those two blueprints together and make sure they're at the same level. They are. But yeah, I'll show you with this blueprint here. So we put down the first blueprint. We're not going to worry about the legs at the moment. But we put down the first blueprint. Look how long it takes to build. Jeesh. There we go. So we got the blueprint down, right? But you're going to notice that this blueprint only has a half beam here. And it has a beam on this side of the bridge, but not on this side. And that's because when you take this exact same blueprint, put it into blueprint mode, and then rotate it 180 degrees, and then we just nudge it together, you can see it performs an exact copy that is needed to fill in that space, the missing pieces. Like I said, all that's left is just the lights, essentially, which is only 3 pieces of lights, which, yeah, that bridge works so much better than the original one that I did that was like that. The original one that I did that was like that, you actually had to add in a couple of beams, some beam connectors, and I vowed not to let that happen again. This is like, no, it has to be easy. If it weren't for the lights, it'd be perfect. I wouldn't have to add anything in. But because I'm stupid and I want to add 1,000,000 lights to my game because I use Lumen, not the cause for the lag, by the way. Lumen is not the cause for the lag. It is my CPU. My CPU, it will say, is an unhappy child at the moment. And it gets very cranky when I go to play games and record. If I'm playing games, no problem at all. If I'm doing anything else, no problem at all. But as soon as I go to record, CPU gets very, very cranky and acts like it hasn't had its bedtime yet, and it needs some milk. He needs some milk. I love that one. Yeah, it's pretty much, it acts like a redheaded stepchild. As the saying goes, you know. Yeah, and I need to just replace it. I think, you know what, I was thinking about it too, and I was like, you know what I should do? Maybe I should just buy a new one, you know, if I can even find a new one, that is. Find another i7 4790 like what's in here, because this is the highest CPU my motherboard supports, because my motherboard's old. In computer years, that's old. Well, not in the relative world that we live in, but in computer years, it's like dog years, you know. It's very, very old. So, yeah, like 10 years ago is like a millennia to the computer world. Yeah, that might be an exaggeration, but hey, you get the point. All right, so that's basically how we're putting our bridges together. Now, last episode, I did show how to build the bridge corners. So if you want a little tutorial on that, you can watch the bridge corners that I did. It's not really a tutorial, but it is showing you how I build these. So these are custom built. These little bridges that look like corners, or that don't look like corners. They are corners. The corners that look like a bridge, like you took the bridge and you kinked it. Essentially, you put a little bend in there. Yeah, I showed how to build those, so I won't be showing those again for quite a while, probably. Oh, my lights on that factory have turned off, apparently. A factory way off in the distance there. It has unloaded the lumen on that, which is very interesting. I love the lumen on this, though. I mean, look at that. The freaking lumen on this entire area is just so good. It's definitely one of my favorite areas. It's a little bit haphazardly put together, I admit, but I didn't plan. These are supposed to be modular factories. I didn't plan on making them any sort of nice. I should say. No, the sun's coming up. There's the sun. All right, so basically we need to go from here. We're gonna go for a little while, and then I'm gonna turn, and I'm gonna go across that little land bridge. Oh no, I was gonna go this way and then across the gap, and then go that way. Really pronounce that P there. But yeah, I'm gonna go across this gap right here with a big bridge. We're gonna put a big bridge together, and then we're going to head that way. And then you can kind of see the rail lines over there. We need to connect over that, and that's going to be finishing up the grasslands loop. So yeah, let me get that done just real quick. And well, I don't know about this bridge. This bridge that's spanning that gap is going to take a while. And then once we get across that gap, we're going to have to put a T-junction somewhere so that we can go that way. I'm actually going to put another T-junction here, and I'm going to go right through the middle of the grasslands, going to the other edge. Just a straight, like, basically a bypass, essentially. And then we can hook more factories to that if we need to, that is. I will do that if we need it. Otherwise, we'll just deal with the loop. But yeah, this loop is definitely taking up all my time, so I'm going to stop yapping and get to it. So, yeah, I'll get up to this point, and then we'll figure out what kind of bridge we want to span that gap right there. I think it'll be pretty good. So, all right, let's do it. Alrighty then, so I finally made my way down here with our bridges. I did have to do a little bit of a funky corner, so this one's it's not quite the same type of corner as we've seen from over there. However, you know, this is a pretty it is a sloped curve, just to kind of blend these two grids together, because that was the best way that I could do it, because I needed to, like I said, bridge over this gap. Now we're going to be doing a different kind of bridge. I'm going to be creating a blueprint, I think. I'm going to try. We're going to be creating a blueprint for this bridge specifically. I'm thinking an under-arch bridge. I think an under-arch bridge could be really, really cool. built out of concrete, because concrete does contrast nicely with the grass here. But yeah, if we can do like a concreted under arch bridge, I think that'd be really cool. Basically, if you haven't seen an under arch bridge, it's just to basically say an arch. We're going to be doing probably, I don't know how many arches, probably one arch, because of this gap. It doesn't really span all that far, but I don't want to put any supports in the middle of this. We don't want any supports in the middle of this because we're actually going to be running a rail line down this way over to there, because our nuclear pasta factory is going to be right over there, as well as there's a rail line going to run that way to go and grab uranium for when we finally do our nuclear power plant. Now, we do have our ionized fuel generated power plant that we're going to be using in phase 5. That's going to be producing pretty much end game power for us. I say pretty much because it's going to produce a lot, but eventually we're going to hit that cap again. But yeah, I don't want to put anything there because we're going to be running rail lines underneath this going up this way. And then we're eventually going to end up this way, and we're going to head over, and eventually we're going to tee off with the main line that's going from here to there. And we're going to tee off, and then the reason I'm going to bring it this way is because we need to be able to go down this slope. And this slope right here, we might have to do a 2-meter slope, just because how steep the hill is. Because from the bottom of there, going up this way is very arch, and we got to be very careful too, because if we're too high, we're going to end up running into the flying manta ray, because I believe the flying manta ray flies through this area, doesn't it? I think it flies underneath this specific land bridge. So yeah, like I said, I do need to be very careful. I actually need to wait for the flying manta ray to come into this area to see where exactly its flight path is, so I can kind of plan for it. Now, I can build a slope going down this way because I have done it before, going underneath. Actually, the last one that I had was coming this way, and then it actually sloped down from over there to over here. It actually sloped down that way instead, but I want it to go underneath this land bridge if we can, if that's possible. So yeah, like I said, this is the temporary bridge, and then I've got some power underneath here so I can fly, because I don't necessarily know what the bridge deck is going to be made out of, but I know the bridge deck is going to be 4 meters. So, all right, let's get to building, shall we? Organization. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a special. Grab ourselves a blueprint or a blueprinter Mark II. Mark II is the blueprinter is very laggy for me, or has been recently. Yeah, I don't exactly know how I'm going to create this arch. Like I said, it's going to be a very big arch. We're going to have to see how good my skills are. I've built overarch bridge, and I actually got a better way of doing an overarch bridge now, that I need to redesign my overarch bridge as well. I would like to redesign that at some point, but again, it's one of those things where it's just really hard to find the time. It's really hard to find the time to do all these extra things, because you're doing YouTube channel and you're trying to make progress in the save without not doing too much extra. And we've already done a ton extra, but not doing too much extra that makes it seem like we're not making any progress at all. It's very difficult to kind of balance that. So it's one of those things. But anyway, all right. So to make this arch big enough, we're gonna have to make the arch only a quarter section. So I'm going to show you I'm going to give you a small bit of a tutorial. I'm actually going to bring some power over here, or maybe we'll just bring some more rail line. Let's just bring some more rail line, shall we? Just run some rail line underneath here, and that should be okay. I had to pull some once this autosave gets through. There we go. I had to pull some temporary foundations over. Okay, here we go. Flying manta ray. Where do you fly exactly? I need to know how close you get to this. Oh. I could have swore the flying manta ray flew over here. Closer. I don't know. Oh well. I maybe they changed the pathing of it from what I remember. It's been a while since I've been like fully into the grasslands, I should say. Oops, let's just pull from here. It doesn't need to attach, just as long as it's got power. Okay, so now we can fly around here with no issue. Okay. Let's get started here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do big concrete pillars because we're gonna need some big ones. This is a big. It's actually a pretty big bridge, so I'm hoping this archway will cover it. I'm going to do so. The type of archway that I'm going to be doing is almost a full-on arch. We're probably not going to be doing straight down, but we're going to be doing most of the angle downwards. Like once we hit the angle, then we're going to slope towards the cliff sides on the outer edge if we can. I might have to do a straight down angle as well. I'm not 100% sure. I've never done this before, you know. I've never built a bridge like this, but I do have an idea of how I can make it happen. So we're going to put down a concrete pillar just like this, straight up and down. And what we're going to do is so the arch is going to start here, and then what it's going to do is it's going to slope up to, not going to slope up to that point, but it's going to basically round off that way. And we'll build the full quarter arch, and then we'll put it in place, and then we'll delete what we don't need and call it a day. Now, I haven't built the quarter arch with the big pillars yet, so I don't have a blueprint for it. But yeah, I think I'm going to do straight concrete. If not, we can do a double arch, and I'll put a support right smack bang in the middle. And what we'll do is we'll have the rails come down and then split the support. I think that could be pretty cool too. If the arch ends up not being big enough. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. But what we're going to do is you're going to put yourself into default mode. Or default mode with this, and you're just going to place a single block just right here. That's all you need, just a single block. And then what you're going to do is you're going to bounce, or you're going to angle off of it like this, but this one you're going to zoop. So we're going to zoop out. I don't think I can zoop this far. I can't remember exactly how many numbers it is with the big ones. Actually, I don't even know what those small ones is. I always forget. But this is how you build. This is how you build the dome shapes as well that I've built over there. This is the exact same method. All it takes is just knowing the method, essentially. And what we're going to do is I'm going to delete this one right here, and I'm going to delete this. Now, the reason I'm deleting this here is because when we get our archway, it's going to end up blocking me putting this block down, or it's not going to be very easy. So, or putting the next block down right there. So then we're going to place our next one. Now, however, before you place this next one, put yourself back in default mode. You're going to hold Control. And you're going to notice that it may not rotate, it may rotate, it may not rotate, depending on what the last time you were rotating with Control was. But it doesn't matter. So we're just going to reset it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it once. That's it, just with the mouse wheel. So while holding Control, mouse wheel up. Well, with this one it was mouse wheel up, but whichever mouse wheel it is, whichever direction, just mouse wheel one tick. And you're just going to place that. Then you're going to grab your zoop mode, and you're going to take this, and you're going to now we can make a much bigger archway, which I might do. So you can actually go bigger. So normally you'd go to this point right here, and then there's your, basically touching, there's your arch. So we're going to go this way because we want it much bigger. And I'll show you how to fill that gap in a minute as well. Yeah, then you're going to delete this one, you're going to delete this one, and so on. Hold Control. It should remember how many ticks you've rotated, but sometimes it doesn't. So try to keep a track in your head. Because I have had it times where it just doesn't sometimes. It just doesn't remember. It'll rotate randomly. I think it does it mostly with foundations like that, but yeah, there's the next rotation, and this is how you get, your really big, like, oops, and make sure it doesn't do that. See how it goes up like that? You want to make sure that it only rotates, it doesn't scooch downwards or upwards. There we go. Scooch it one more, or rotate it one more. And you'll know, because you'll notice you'll know if you've done it wrong, because the consistent, it just looks off, So there's our next rotation. We're actually going to be using this similar method to build part of the nuclear pasta factory. Jeez, the name just escaped me. One more tick. There's our rotation. And I'm going to only build a quarter arch, and then I can just put the two arches together once I'm happy with it. You can actually use this method to build all kinds of circles and gears, and just, this is just such a cool freaking method to putting stuff together. And it's so simple to do. Once you learn how to do it, it's just, it's as easy as pie, really. I mean, it's so freaking easy. As well. Okay, then you're just gonna go all the way until you reach the last point, where we can just put up a straight piece like that. And there we go. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna delete what we don't need. Because this is an archway. We're not gonna need all the middle fluff. Just gonna remove all that. Just like that. Oop. Yeah, this is about as far as you can go before you start getting gaps. Make sure I'm selected so I don't accidentally select anything else, since there's gaps here. Alright, and there we go. So now we're going to fill in these gaps. Now, how do we fill in these gaps? There's a few different ways to do it. I'm going to show you one of the ways I do it. What we're going to do is we're going to take a painted beam. It doesn't matter which beam you use, but painted beam is the easiest. So we're going to take a painted beam, and what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we're in freeform mode. I'm going to click here, right on the edge, right in the middle. I'm going to click to this next one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this here on the edge of the pillar. And I hit the H key to lock it in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to nudge it down. 1, 2, 3. 3.5 maybe. It's not going to be exact because this isn't exact. Like, I'd have to go out one more if I wanted to have an exact rotation. But yeah, we're going to put that like that. So yeah, just be aware that when you're going out this far, it's not exact. Unless you go out far enough to where it is. And we're trying to blueprint this. So like, I could build it all by hand, but I'm trying to blueprint it. Make it a little bit easier on myself. I'm just kind of nudging it up by holding control to nudge it up 0.5 meter. Yeah, this is roughly the way you can make this happen. And obviously there's other methods as well that you can use, but this is like it's almost like a quick and dirty method. Oops. Of course, if you're not in soup mode, it's a little bit easier. And as you can see, we just keep going and keep on a-going. Just fill in them gaps. Again, multiple methods. I'm just using a quick and dirt now. Just so that everybody understands that this is the only way this is possible. There's multiple ways of making this work. But I don't have the time to do all the nice methods. It's not. I mean, it's not going to be seen by a lot of people anyway. So, oh, we might not be able to make this one happen. Specifically, like I want it to. Oh, there we go. Yeah, sometimes you'll end up in a situation where it just does not want it. Like, two different keys that are supposed to be two different directions within the 3D space don't do the two different directions in the 3D space like you want them to. Like, you get the X and Y, but you don't get the Z, or you get the X and Y, or X and Z, but you don't get the Y, or, you know, just any combination of those, and it's really annoying to deal with. But sometimes all it is just a change of perspective. Just look at it differently. And then put a new piece down, lock it in from that different perspective, and then you'll be able to do it. And then if it's a perfect 45-degree angle, though, sometimes it's impossible. Sometimes it is impossible. I don't know, it's just the way the game handles the nudging and stuff like that. It's not perfected yet. Of course. Yeah, since we can nudge up and down, that makes the stuff super easy to make happen. And I'm gonna light this up as well. I'm gonna like put lights on the arches and stuff like that. I think it could look really good. I'm just kind of nudging whatever feels comfortable. Okay, so now that you've got all that, there's pretty much our archway. Now, I like the way this archway looks just because it's kind of alternating between having these types of angles and these types of angles. You could definitely make this look nicer by basically what we can do is we can put a piece in here like this, and then delete this center piece like this. And then what we can do is we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. I mean, do it like that as well, but me personally, I like this one. It looks a little better. Okay, but there's our quarter arch. So that is roughly, actually, that's exactly 5 foundations wide. Okay, so how wide is our bridge from roughly where we'd start our... We'd have the edge of the archway. Why don't I have power? I have a track here. Why don't I have power? What? I don't understand what just happened. Whatever. So yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5. So 10 is going to be a single archway. Okay, so yeah, we're going to need a central support. That's okay. I can deal with that. I didn't want to deal with that. But we're going to deal with that. We'll have a dual under arch bridge. It'll be the McDonald's golden arches. Should we paint them gold too? We definitely paint them gold. Alrighty. And then we need to get those arches on here to get started. I'm going to I'm going to leave these here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the material to concrete. But yeah, let me get the arches on this bridge and then we can work on the rest of it. Alrighty then, so after a little bit of time, spent about 3 hours building this bridge, finally got it done. I did put this bridge right here. I could have slid this bridge over, I realize now, but it's fine. It was an odd number of spaces, so I just put a little bit of a bigger support right there. It's like, yeah, it's fine. But yeah, we got the slope going all the way down. You know what I could do? Oh no, it's an odd number of pieces. Never mind. But yeah, it works out for now. We can leave that as well as that is finished up there. I'm going to leave that as well. So yeah, over to our bridge. So this is under arch bridge. I don't really know the style of under arch bridge it is specifically, but it is what I had in mind, and I think it looks pretty darn good. So let's go over to this. You know what I'm going to do, actually? We don't use the photo mode very much, so let's go photo mode. Now, it is going to turn off the music because the radio's on my person. It's not in the world playing music, unfortunately, but that's okay. We can go ahead and turn on that. I'm going to hit the T key, and then here is our under arch bridge. It's pretty small, I know. But yeah, I got the 2 arches in there with the little circle. It felt like this little circle in the center kind of felt like that space right there kind of felt like it needed something. So I'm like, why don't I add something that's round? And I was like, well, there's nothing more round than a circle, so there you go. Yeah, I went ahead and added that circle, and it looks pretty good. And it is solid all the way through. Should this be the thumbnail? Just no context circle with lights in it. Man, that is bright in there. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Went with the classic blue. You know, the classic what would you call that? Sci-fi punk blue on a concrete bridge, which looks pretty good. I will add I'll probably add some more lighting later. But I've already spent too many hours on this. Plus, yeah, I didn't want to go too crazy. Maybe we'll come back later and gussy it up a little bit, make it look a little more interesting. I definitely want to put some lighting along here, maybe some light poles and some railing and stuff like that. I think that could look really cool as well. So yeah, back to our music here because I got the radio on me. We are pretty much out of time for this episode, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. However, next time, we are going to be building a rail line from here all the way over there. You can kind of see the trains moving. Did see the trains moving over there. But yeah, it'll go over to there. And then somewhere around this area, we're going to have a T-junction. And that T-junction is going to run a rail line down this way, or maybe it'll run a rail line down that way. And then we'll just make our way down this way underneath our arch bridge and then over to this way. So that hole right there, that one's going to be for our nuclear pasta. And this one over here, I'm not really sure what it's going to be for, but we're going to have another factory covering over that hole as well. Maybe we could do like, we can do another one of the phase 4 objects, maybe like thermal propulsion rockets or something. Maybe we'll use maybe we'll build a giant rocket. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Not you know, just build a giant rocket like we're constructing it or something, and inside can be the factory. That'd be kind of cool, actually. I'd be up for that. Yeah, and we'll point it out of the ground. But yeah, so those two are going to be factories, and then plus we're going to run a rail line into that tunnel in there so we can pull out the uranium. But I won't be building into that tunnel right off the bat. We're going to wait until we actually need uranium for our nuclear power plant later on. Is when we'll be building rails into that tunnel so that we can extract that. Plus that tunnel actually pops out. I don't remember exactly where it pops out, but I know it pops out to the the northeast there, somewhere over that way, or maybe it's more north. I don't remember exactly where it goes, but it does pop out. Maybe we can run a rail line all the way through and then like connect it up so it could be like a little shortcut. That'd be kind of cool. And make that a really cool rail line coming this way. And then of course, yeah, underneath the arch bridge, underneath the land bridge, up and out, and then over to this one. And maybe we'll put another T-junction like somewhere in there that'll eventually end up going that way. Kind of cut our loop in half. But I'm not too keen on cutting the loop in half, to be completely honest with you. I'd rather not cut the loop in half. But if we end up needing to build more factories in the center, because yeah, there's not a whole lot of space to build factories on this side without being extremely high off the ground. So maybe, yeah, we'll run a rail line through the center there to kind of get some factories in the middle and stuff like that. So yeah, it looks really, everything looks really good. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of this bridge for now. I think we're going to leave it, and we're going to move on to building over to that way, but that'll be next time, of course. So, like I said, though, that is going to be it. So I do hope you enjoyed. Oh, and before you go, I'd like to give a huge shout out and thank you to all of the investors you can see on your screen right now. Seriously, thank you. You guys are awesome. It is much appreciated. And until next time, I guess it's a goodbye.